Hey, so what's going on, everyone? So recently, a lot of you have been telling me how much you enjoy the discussion videos and want more discussion videos, which on one end is really cool because I know that means a lot of you are showing interest in more of the stuff I do because the discussion videos are always more on my stuff, not necessarily some of the people that I feature. So I was trying to figure out something that I could do for a good discussion video because there's a few that I know a lot of you have requested, and I'm purposely not doing those right now for a lot of different reasons. But I got an email recently from one of the publishers I've worked with, and one of the people in charge of that particular publishing company approached me about being one of their compilers for future anthologies. And I said no, and like I put the kibosh on that real quick because of a couple of different reasons. One, I've got my own books to focus on. I'm just finishing up the first release of the year. Second release of the year is going to be right around the corner. Not to mention there's still 2 more books coming out this year after that. But one thing a lot of people might not know is that early on, when I was still like taking stuff from my notebooks I wrote in high school and putting them together as books, was that I actually did compile a couple of anthologies. As a matter of fact, to be exact, I compiled 3 anthologies. 2 of them are poetry, one of them's a combination of poetry and short stories. And there's a lot of reasons behind why I'm never doing that again. Well, I don't want to say never, but it's unlikely. And it's nothing, it's going to sound kind of selfish on my end, but I do want to say I have a lot of respect to the people that do compile anthologies and to the publishing companies that have made a name for themselves with some of these. But all I got was a headache. So the first one that I put together is titled Yesterday and Tomorrow. So this one got its name because it is half legends and half my friends. Out of everyone in here, my friend Chris, a lot of you probably read some of his books. He's got 5 books of his own: In Every Inch and Every Mile, Venus in Arms, Diatoma, Philosophy, and Hilology. Him and I are really the only 2 in here to regularly release books. I also need to give a shout out to my editors from early on, Elliot and John, both of them. I pestered them into being featured in the book. Elliot had a couple things. John, I had to put up a little bit of an argument with him. And I also managed to convince my mom to be in this as well. My mom also does some writing as well. She's never put out a book of her own, but this is one of the things that she is featured in. And then I found a bunch of stuff that was public domain, put it together, and voila, my first compiled anthology. On one end, it was kind of cool because I managed to get a lot of people together in a very short amount of time. The downsides were this book is thin and it features 50 poems. Another issue that I had was when I started featuring the public domain stuff, Amazon didn't believe me when I said I was using public domain stuff, and had to prove that I was indeed using public domain stuff and that the people that were in the book agreed to be in the book. Yeah, it was not fun to put together. But For a couple of people, it was their first time getting published. For a lot of them, it's their only time getting published. Uh, I know one of the poems in there for me was actually a co-written poem I found from my high school days. And the two guys that I wrote that with, I know they don't have any aspirations of writing. They both thought it was amusing that they got to be in a book, but it was something that was very quickly put together, and it was a lot of stress. I'm going to be honest. Like, me putting it together as quickly as I did actually was not much of a problem. As a matter of fact, I'm going to explain why with the next book. So, a couple of people submitted stuff to me for yesterday and tomorrow after I already closed it up and had the book ready to order on Amazon. So I told everyone, I was like, all right, I'll do another one, and we're going to have it put out at the beginning of next year. So this book came out in the summer of 2011. So it came out about a month or two before my poetry book, Lies of the Fearless. So I knew that I didn't want to put it out in 2011 because I was getting ready to release Lies of the Fearless. And Awakening with the Sea was my most well-received book. It was my best-selling book. I was expecting Lies of the Fearless to outdo that because now I'm starting to gain a following. So I told everyone, like, you're welcome to submit stuff, but we're not putting this book out until 2012. I've got a book coming out in September, a book coming out in January. I want to get those out of the way first because I've already started working on them. I've already started promoting them. I need to do that. I can't do that as well. And long story short, yesterday and tomorrow feature two of the poems that I put in Lies of the Fearless, which did help get people ready for Lies of the Fearless. And in January 2012, I put out Aspects of Love. So at the end, once Aspects of Love was out, I went on ahead and started like really pushing through, and I put together More Than a Million Words. So the previous book managed to get, I believe, 10 people. And there were two people that wanted to be in Yesterday and Tomorrow that didn't send their stuff on time. And they ended up in More Than a Million Words. Now, the upside was this go around, since I didn't want to deal with the stress of trying to use public domain stuff again, I said, all right, well, instead of sending this many, because I think the max was 4, I think I upped it to 6 for this one. So the upside was more stuff was featured in it. The downside was some of the people that were featured in Yesterday and Tomorrow, I kind of had to pull teeth to get some of them to agree to be in Yesterday and Tomorrow. So when it came time for More Than a Million Words, the deal was if I did this again, I would not harass anyone. So I had to not harass anyone this go around. So some of the people that were in Yesterday and Tomorrow told me they did not want to be in the next one. So the downside was the final number of people in this is only 6. And the good part is this one features more people that I've worked with since then, more people that have done their own stuff. So I mentioned this in my past book unboxing as well as my signed book haul, because for those that don't know, I got everyone involved to sign this one, which is really cool. But this book did end up resulting in a lot of collaborations happening, and it definitely helped build momentum for both myself and Chris. At the time, I believe Chris was getting ready to release Diatoma, and I was getting ready to release my first non-poetry book, Veering Straight Ahead. So this definitely helped for more people knowing who we are. It also helped when Ray, one of the authors in the book, a lot of people that knew him were like, hey, you're in this book, that's really cool. And one of the end results for that was Wretched Scars that him and I co-wrote, as well as Ray being in the next book I'm going to be showing off. Mary, one of the authors in here, is actually an artist. Don't get me wrong, her poems in here are really good, but drawing and illustrating is her main thing on that stuff. And her being in here led to her doing the covers for Wretched Scars, Approaching Humanity, Three Crowns, and in case if I haven't already mentioned it, Mary's doing the cover for the Omni follow-up Elsewhere. So you've already got 4 out of 6 people that are in the book that have already started gaining some momentum. It definitely helped out with some people. And this book ended up doing not bad. So after that one, once again, I had some people ask, hey, are you going to do another one? Are you going to do another one? Are you going to do another one? And at the time, I really couldn't, because not only was I still putting together Veering Straight Ahead, Ray had momentum on his side, which ended up resulting in Wretched Scars. I'll do a video on that later explaining why it ended up being a co-written book instead of just a Ray book. But I had both of those, not to mention around the time of Lies of the Fearless coming out, I was already writing Approaching Humanity. And I was kind of trusting my gut at the time that I thought that Approaching Humanity was going to be like that book that people would remember me for. Like, that's where my mindset was with that book. So I didn't want to, once again, not write for Approaching Humanity, because I've already had to push it back so many times to finish up Aspects of Love, to do Veering Straight Ahead. I ended up adding Wretched Scars in there, plus More Than a Million Words. And at the end of the day, even though it sold some copies, when you've got 6 people in there, it ended up not really being enough to where I could really pay anyone. It was just to the point of I was just ordering copies for the people in the book saying, hey, how many do you need? And I'll have them sent to you. So that was kind of how it ended up doing. But did have some people that wanted to do this again. So I was like, all right, let's do this again. But first, me and Ray need to finish up Wretched Scars, and then we'll do some more stuff. And at this time, this was when I was working on Veering Straight Ahead, so I was kind of in short story mode. I can't speak for every author out there, but my mindset when I'm writing a poem versus my mindset when I'm writing fiction are not the same. It's day and night. So for me, I was still working on trying to get back into writing poetry again. So it's like, all right, I've still got short story ideas, and I don't know when the next short story book's going to be, because I don't know what I want to do after Approaching Humanity. So I opened this one up a little bit more. I was like, all right, last time I ended up with fewer authors than I was expecting. This go around, let's do at least 10. 10 poems, 10 short stories, 10 whatever combo you want to do. So last one that I put together was Burning Thoughts and Flooding Ideas, a literary collection. So this one I kind of treated this the same way I did Yesterday and Tomorrow, where I featured some of the poems that are in Approaching Humanity. And I believe Chris did the same thing with some of the poems in his. Let me do a quick double check. If he did, it was not. Yeah, I think Chris also featured his stuff in, I want to say, philosophy, possibly. I'm not sure. I will definitely ask him, and I will correct myself in the pinned comment. But the cool part about this one was, once again, everyone was able to come together and have stuff ready in a timely manner. The downside, though, was at the end of the day, one of the goals was to start paying people for their work being featured. And Burning Thoughts and Flooding Ideas did not do as well as More Than a Million Words. More Than a Million Words had 6 authors. Burning Thoughts and Flooding Ideas had 10, plus there were 2 different editors that were solely there as editors for different works. So when you split all that up, it wasn't enough to really pay anyone, once again. Like, I couldn't have even paid everyone $5. Like, that's how little sales were for Burning Thoughts and Flooding Ideas. I tried doing a giveaway. I tried reminding people it was out when Approaching Humanity came out. Chris was promoting it when he was promoting his books. Ray was promoting it when he was promoting his books. And at the end of the day, it just didn't sell. So part of it on why I didn't want to do any more anthologies where I'm the one putting them together was finding enough people at that time, because at the time I thought I was starting to gain success. I definitely underestimated some stuff. Like, I thought, oh, hey, people are starting to read my stuff. Now I can share everyone else. No, I was nowhere near that level. Like, the fact that I'm at that level now is still kind of shocking to me. So that's definitely one of the things I've learned over the years. So part of it was me thinking I had enough of a platform when at the time I really didn't. So I didn't really have the resources. And if you've looked at any of my earlier stuff, my editing skills are garbage. And unfortunately, they have not gotten that much better. Like, I can put a sentence together a little bit better than what I used to. But should I be trusted to look at someone's work and as an editor? No, absolutely not. But that's one of the things that you have to do when you're the person putting this stuff together, is you're also the editor. And that was not a good role for me. Like, I can definitely, like, I think I did a good job arranging the books and making sure that they were spread out well enough so people can check out everyone without just going, hey, I'm going to look up this person and this person only, so then they're only looking at 4 or 5 pages of the book. The goal was to share everyone's stuff. Another issue is, and this is still something that goes on with multiple small publishers, and that's wanting to pay the authors. And while some of these More Than a Million Words did not do bad, but at the end of the day, I none of them really sold well enough for me to be able to pay people. And that was one of the requests that a lot of people had was like, hey, are you going to pay everyone for the next one after Burning Thoughts and Flooding Ideas? I said, let me get through Approaching Humanity and this other book I'm working on, and we'll talk about it. Well, Approaching Humanity was the last book I released for 3 years. So it ended up not coming to fruition. Since then, some of the people that are in these books don't really do writing like that anymore. I think me and Chris are really the only two that still do regular writing. Like I said, Mary's going to be doing one of the covers for one of my future books. But trying to set up a platform to be able to do that, there's a lot of work into it. And after Burning Thoughts and Floating Ideas came out, I wasn't trying to think about, hey, I'm going to put together another book. It was, hey, I am happy this is done. I want to finish up Approaching Humanity and get to work on another project. Like, I was not thinking about another anthology. And honestly, until recently, where I was asked about being a project leader for some stuff, I hadn't even been asked about it, so it was never really something I thought about again. The only reason it's even been brought up was because in some of the videos I did, the past book unboxing, I show off the covers of all the books I'm in. Well, these are 3 books that I am in, so it made sense to talk about it there. More Than a Million Words is signed by all the authors in the book. So it made sense to talk about it in the signed book haul. But as far as me promoting other people goes, as far as me sharing the works of others go, I'm more than happy to share books on this channel, doing unboxings and reviews for some of my friends. Like, I've gotten enough signed books that there's going to be a signed book haul too in the future. I'm good at doing that. I can definitely share some books. I'm definitely willing to talk about books. But to those that put together an anthology and feature however many people it is you feature, I have nothing but respect to a lot of you, because a lot of you are dealing with a lot of stress. For me, just putting these 3 together was very stressful for me. So, again, I'm not against being in a book. I'm not against sharing a book. But after my own personal experiences doing it, it's not something that I think I am the right person to do. And to those that have asked me about being a project leader or wanting me to do something where I can put my name on a book for whatever reasons, I appreciate it. I'm glad that you think enough of me to think that I am able to do that. But at the end of the day, one of the things I got to say I've definitely been proud about with myself as a writer is knowing my strengths and weaknesses. And one of the things I would have to do is edit, and that's not a strong point for me. I would be bringing in a team of people to talk about this stuff. So there's that. Another thing too is that with some of these books, the authors have to give up the rights to their stuff for a little bit. And not all authors are willing to do that. That's one of the reasons you see some people not do anthologies. So when these were out, I had to put them through my Amazon page. So I had to technically say to Amazon, like on paper, I was like, hey, this is my book. Things have changed since then, because, I mean, this book turns 10 this year, for anyone that's wondering. But since then, things have improved on that front. I will say that much. But at the end of the day, again, it's a whole strengths and weaknesses thing, and that's definitely not a strong point for me. Like, I definitely want to read more stuff from other authors out there, but I'm not going to be the one putting a book together anymore. Like, those that do it, again, respect to you. But yeah, that does it for this one. None of those I really promote anymore because, again, me and Chris are really the only two that still regularly write. I'll have some of his social medias stuff in the description below, and I'll have the link to his Amazon author page for anyone that wants to check out his poetry books. He's currently got 5 books out, and he submits quotes to various things. So there's a lot of books out there that feature quotes from him. I know he's done a couple of other anthologies as well. And I will feature my social media links in the description below. So thank you all for watching, and I will catch you on the next one.